3. Hello, 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 hello.
We have a special guest today. I have RuPaul with me, and she's gonna review the past season with us.
I have like a very tough semester ahead of me, so I was like too lazy to set up the backdrop. So I was like, I'm gonna use a virtual backdrop, Ronald. I got really great Las Vegas, and then he sent me this stank picture of RuPaul, and I was like, you have to use that. That's so good.
And it's perfect because
They're
it's
just
like
mad as
we're
hell.
recapping the season, and this space of which she is serving basically recaps the whole season.
Dogs
And designer tags.
Right, basically 5 episodes. She's just all mad up in her own feelings right there, being like, these bitches, why did I hire them? I knew I should have called Kennedy.
Well, no, Kennedy you would have had drama too, but
Well, you always so mad at Kennedy. Every time I talk about Kennedy, she's always got to be like, oh, her old ass dance moves.
I don't like her. She's boring.
Oh.
I mean, she's old and she don't. I shouldn't say she's old. She just can't serve the way I need her to serve. And then she just got that stank attitude.
But I live for when she posts those old photos on her Instagram, like from the late 90s when she's with like all the army trade. It's like I like wait for those weekly for her flashbacks.
I can't process her being in the army because I know that was a gag.
Oh yeah, that one's definitely a woman from birth, without question. And what's also interesting about Kennedy? She never really made any major statement about Shishi Devane. They were so close, and she just kind of put a normal like we're sisters thing on Instagram, like as if it was her and Trixie Mattel. But they were so mother-daughter. So I mean, maybe she's just in too much pain. But I just thought that was interesting.
Maybe.
She didn't make a bigger sort of statement about it. So
I don't know.
Who knows? All right, so we're getting into the last episode of the Las Vegas Revue. Overall, I am a person who really appreciates talent. That's why I watch these shows, because I like to see talented people. And there was too much focus on the drama for me. There wasn't enough focus on the performance. And ultimately,
they do the same number every night.
Yeah, and ultimately, this isn't the strongest like performing group. I don't think so.
No, I can't disagree.
So
Vanjie, I would say is the strongest, just because Vanjie has an old nasty ratchet number that I just live for, honey.
Vanjie definitely, without question, on stage and off has the most.
And Vanjie actually really can dance. Like I would say she actually has the hardest choreography in the whole show.
Right, exactly. But I mean, I would much rather like have Bianca host, watch Alyssa Edwards, Kennedy, Shangela, and like one. And
Alyssa Edwards would be cute.
Yeah, Alyssa Edwards would be cute. So I just, and I know all those girls are busy and doing other things, and these girls needed work, and no hate in their game. That I just really, I am, I rewatched Kylie's Showgirl this week, and I love a showgirl. That's what I really live and die for, with all my dance background. So speaking of the drama, Derek, Naomi, and Asia are still bickering. Everybody's forgotten this point about what they're bickering about. They pulled this whole seasonal narrative out of it. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. Jamal, the choreographer of the show, comes in about 15 minutes into the show and basically has to have like some type of intervention because he doesn't want the negativity backstage to come out on stage. And I was deeply offended by Derek Barry's comments and behavior during that whole diatribe, because don't start shit and then act like you're the victim and expect an apology from me. Over my fucking dead body would I apologize to Derek Barry. I would rather leave the show to take that anger to the grave than apologize to Derek Barry. And I hated how he tried to make himself the victim.
I don't know if he meant, but did he mean apologize to him? I thought he meant like apologize to the group.
No. He meant to apologize to him. So that Asia was acting immature, and that Asia, was dragging this out. And I'm like, you are the cause and the root of all the problems on all 6 episodes of this show.
But you got to give him credit towards the end. He did apologize.
He had to do that because he didn't want to be like the Gia Gunn of the season and just all stank and angry. Because Derek has to have everybody love and adore him, and that he's the one who's trying to help Vanjie find love. He's the one who's trying to bring the cast together. He's the one that did this. He's the one that did that. Anything to make himself the center of the narrative, he will do. So I
True.
didn't believe any of that for 10 seconds. And the one thing that was true was it's very obvious by what Derek says that he grew up in a very confrontational family and has confrontation with his family still present tense. And that really carries over into how you conduct your every life. If you have a confrontational relationship with your family, you are a confrontational person. And he doesn't seem very confrontational in his relationship, but oh, he loves drama. He is a person who has to have drama to thrive. It is like oxygen to him. And I personally, in my real life, I just avoid those people like the plague, so because nothing good comes of it. Nothing good comes of it.
You ain't gonna do a post with the slight chance that he'll see it though.
Well, unfortunately, she's too big to probably get to my nasty grams that I sometimes.
Well, I wouldn't have thought that Jansport would have seen it, but she did.
That's true. Well, let's not call Jansport big. Let's not get crazy here on this. The Lord's Day. Let's not lie.
You're a mess. But it's kind of a gag. You're kind of accumulating these little drag race girls.
Right. Just
squabbles and
this hate group. So I know I love how I'm like, I don't like drama, and I have a whole group of people I'm like
right. Right now it's just one. Right now it's just one. It's just the one that you had with Jansport. But I'm just saying, if Derek were to catch wind of it, if it just so happens he was on his phone and he does see the notification, he is not opposed to going to your page
Derek
and reading
and I
the
actually
I'm
know
just saying.
Derek and I are from the same hometown. I've said this before, but maybe for people who are just watching this for the first time, like we actually know a lot of people in common. I can count it on two hands. So it's not impossible we would run into one another. So.
Well, he would have to go back home for that. I don't think he goes back home too much.
I've seen him perform in Modesto, so at the club.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. Oh, I didn't even think he goes back home like that.
Yeah, it was actually a little like dangerous because it's, obviously the smaller venue being in Modesto. So he did Circus with Brittany with the whip. And he was like whipping that thing, and I was like, you are gonna like scratch somebody's eyes out or whip a drink in somebody's face. So, but even back then, I mean, that was a good 5-7 years ago. That at least 5. And I was like, kind of like,
Shane, don't try it. You know that bitch was literally one of the first drag race. She was like not the first. She was the famous Britney impersonator. Like that's how come she got us. I was
going to say impersonator, and I was like, how dare you insult Chad Michaels that way? So Britney, yes,
the Britney impersonator. She was she was like on X Factor. Wasn't she on one of those shows too?
Oh, I don't.
She was like one of those shows back then too. Yeah, she was the Britney impersonator, though.
Okay, sure. Okay, well, let's move on. So, Vanjie and Cameron go on their date. That's also been, a narrative throughout a few episodes. Still, when my mind went quiet this whole week, I just see Naomi being like, at the wig store. So I'm glad that they flash back to that with her being like,
she was gooped.
She was really gooped. And the date was just awful. I mean, it was the worst recorded date on Drag Race history. It was worse than that date that Alyssa Edwards went on her own prom with her own show with that country man. Remember, that was like awful, no energy. It was bad, and it's exactly like Vanjie said. If you're talking about your favorite foods on the first date.
Vanjie was trying, but Cameron is just...
Yeah,
Cameron's not a talkative girl.
Yeah, Cameron's not the most charismatic out of drag. So ultimately, I didn't really see that working. Like, I never really understand these Kai relationships.
Well, it's a shame though. They are cute together.
They are cute, yeah. Physically, yeah, they are. But I'm with Silky. I'm like, bitch, you've been down this road before.
No, Silky, I think, was just coming from a jealous place. She was just like, I don't want you to have no man. No shade, because then we can't share this apartment no more. And I'm just like,
Well, that comes later. So later we find out, which actually is brilliant. So once again, if you haven't been following this whole season, Silky Nutmeg Ganache and Vanjie live in the same apartment building, which had me shook on the first episode. So I guess that they were yelling at each other from upstairs to downstairs too much, and the neighbors were complaining because they're both on 11 all the time. So they just decided to move in together, which,
well, the landlord supposedly told them to move in
yeah,
together.
total and complete sense. But that was kind of a cute building. I like the little garden. I wonder where it is in LA, if it was West Hollywood
I
or
mean, they have money.
yeah,
They have some money.
they got some money. So I mean, I certainly don't think Silky Nutmeg Ganache cleared $100,000, but you know, I think she's got
No,
enough.
she probably did from like before her like jobs before.
What were her jobs before?
She has like a doctorate or something, or she was a candidate for a doctorate.
Oh, I guess that's true. So, but I don't think she was working. I think she had like basically come off that and come onto the show. So, do we know what she has her doctorate in? I'm so curious.
Well, I don't think. Well, I don't know. Remember in the last episode, she said she got accepted for the program.
But she
But
obviously has to have her master's in something. So I'm
but she
sure.
does have a master's in something. The master's was like in something leadership.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right. So, okay, well, good for you, Silky. You know, I love an educated girl. Obviously, has more education than that Candace Owens. So, you know, there's one positive.
But so she could have savings too. We don't know what her money situation was before Drag Race, bitch.
Not with that hair, no savings. So, looking.
That hair is interesting that she hasn't like. You have resources now. You could have gotten someone to get it
If
together.
your hair is that kinky and difficult, girl, just like shave it. You're wearing a wig anyway. It's not like she does like braiding.
Well, I think she wants length to feel her fantasy, to feel her puss. So she wants natural length.
That is not going to be happening anytime soon. So she is like that girl Nicole, like who's like, why not going like this when I do this and do that? That's what Silky's hair out of drag looks like. I love that Nicole girl. I love when she's like twerking and then like the wig comes off.
Right. You are right though. I am surprised that she's left it like that. Because remember, even it was a problem even on her show. Like all the girls would be like, "Oh, girl, let me help you with your hair." Her real hair. She didn't even know how to like slick it down for her wig cap. So she just doesn't know. But I'm just like, yeah, you're right. At that point, she should just shave it off.
So the awful date happens, and then, like we said, Jamal has to do the intervention, and then they're still at each other's throats. And then, boom, coronavirus happens. So it was kind of like this for everyone, where obviously we were all aware of coronavirus, you know, and what was going on in China, and, you know, mainly it was in Italy at first, and all the news.
But it's interesting that they didn't speak on it at all through the prior episodes.
Well, I think it was like anybody else. I think it's a very Americanized way of thinking of like, oh, this is going on in Italy and this is going on in China, and like this is not affecting us. So what does it matter?
Well,
And
no,
I was
because like but I mean, you still would have thought that we would have seen some type of like semblance of it happening. Like, for example, like before the lockdown actually started, yeah, the other places were having lockdowns or whatever and like doing everything, but we still saw people like taking precaution here. We like, not everyone did it, like it hadn't become like mandated yet, but we did see, remember we went to the club and we saw one of the go-go dancers in a mask and gloves and we were gagging, so like people were already starting.
Yeah.
So I'm sure a couple people were like that in Vegas, so you would have thought they would have at least put the camera on them or something just to kind of like speak on it.
I guess what I was saying was I was just very like laissez-faire about it. I was just like, oh, it's just going to be 3 weeks. It isn't a big thing, you know, it's a paid vacation. You know, was, I think, the majority of people's zeitgeist, you know, at the beginning. And then obviously everything, you know, we're still in lockdown today. So it's
True.
weird how it just feels so normal now. Like, it's like I don't know anything else. It's like,
I know. Yeah, like I damn near forgot what life was like without this.
Yeah, I got really into like Dolly Parton this weekend, and I was just like listening to Baby I'm Burning in like the kitchen, and I was like, I would really just love to go to like a Crisco disco, like gay Sunday party, and just dance to this. But it's like,
what is a Crisco disco?
Like
it
when
sounds
they do
dirty.
Super 70s bathhouse disco.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense.
So you know I love a good 70s bathhouse look and reference and song. So times were fun back then. Not like today where you got to meet through the phone.
You are a mess.
So yeah, so I feel for these girls. I really feel for drag in general because
Well, I mean, we're slowly getting it back together. We're
right,
gonna go to that live show.
yeah, we're gonna go to a live show together. We should do it, so see if we can do it. We don't know if we're gonna be able to do it because of copyright issues, but we're gonna go to this drive-in show with most of the finale.
It's actually basically the exact same cast as
this, and then it's going to be in San Francisco, and it's on a mall parking lot. They're going to perform on a stage with a big screen and the drive-in, and we're going to go in my car. So yeah, it is slowly coming back, and I know there's the Twitch shows, and we've seen a lot of outdoor drag.
Well, no, the Twitch show, I don't like that, but I think this is probably like now we're getting on a trajectory of like this we can work with, like it's better than nothing,
right?
And certainly better than Twitch.
But I just really am just feeling for the community at large. For those of you who don't know, one of the most legendary bars in San Francisco, the Eagle, which has a really great Sunday party in the building, is for sale. And so no one quite knows what's going on, if the bar is going to be able to remain with the new owners.
I think the bars are going to open up soon too. We're already starting to do indoor again.
Well, girl,
indoor eating.
I mean, they might buy the land and the property to that and build a condo on it, and that's the last thing we need is another overpriced condo in San Francisco. We need
in Castro.
No, girl, the Eagle in Soma.
Oh, yeah. Well, oh, no, I thought you meant like bars in general.
No, I still think, with, everything that chips away, with every closure, it chips away at gay culture a little bit. Badlands, the Eagle, they closed the bathhouse in San Jose.
Wait, Badlands closed?
Yeah, Badlands closed, yeah. Or we talked about this a few weeks ago.
I guess it didn't fully register.
Yeah, because it's not fully registering because nothing's open. And it just looks like the Last Call or a Toad Hall or any other boarded up business, in San Francisco right now. And so, the Renegades, the bar, which we had our guests on that DJ and perform there, is basically on, its heels of extinction. That every single closure chips away at gay culture. It's all about this, meeting on the apps.
But I do think, I want to say though that I think the bars is the last of the phases to open, but we are slowly opening again because now we're going to be able to do indoor eating. So.
Yeah, and I did go to the Castro this week, and there was more things open. There was more parquettes, more things, slowly but surely. But I just miss the way it was. I really
for sure.
miss, today. I wish we could go out and do like some live coverage, outside the Midnight Sun, and be like, "Sir, what did you think of Drag Race Las Vegas?"
Well, true, but then also it's just.
Oh,
let's stop boring the audience about SF.
Oh, okay, all right. Well,
you said what?
We were talking about local issues that affect our lives.
Yes, but it's not like it's LA where people care about SF too, but I'm just like, I just think they care more if it was LA.
Oh, she got to be mean to her hometown where she was born.
It is my hometown. She's born and raised here, but I'm just like the whoever, we don't know who's watching. Someone in the fucking Seattle or Washington. Do they really care about what's happening here in SF? I don't know.
Well, I'm a bi-coastal girl. I'm a citizen of the world. So overall, Drag Race Las Vegas, it was all right. I wasn't bored to tears. I wasn't necessarily like, oh, I gotta watch this episode tonight once it comes out. So it was okay. It was okay. I feel like if it was a more talented cast of performers, and I'm talking about stage performance, I would have been a little more into it. So
what about and then how about Jamal Sims having to come talk to them?
Oh yeah, I mean, Randy, the executive producer of the shows, had to talk to them. Jamal, who I think is the creative director and choreographer of the show,
and Rue knows about it too.
And Rue knows about it, and Rue don't play like that. So I mean, right. Ultimately, at the end of the day, I have had to work with people I despise.
What do you think about that, Rue? I'm just kidding, but.
And
he's like,
you got to find a way to get along. You don't necessarily need to be everybody's best friend, but you need to find a way to make it work, and that is what it is, in the world of performing and working. I'm sure not every, you know, chorus boy on Broadway is necessarily best friends with the rest of the chorus, but you got to get on stage and every night and do Hello Dolly or whatever you're doing.
And then and then you would and then the date inside of the forget the actual name of it,
Oh
but
yeah,
basically the
that's
Ferris
sort of
wheel.
Ferris wheel, or the Ferris wheel pod. I think they call it.
Yeah, it's like a pod. It's like, I don't know if pod's the real name. I can't remember, but basically the Ferris
I
wheel.
think it is. But I love when Banshee was like, "Can I get more drinks?"
She pressed that speaker. So what she rented, I guess they rented, or they were able to rent that out because it's a TV show.
Right.
But normally they do it like in groups, so there has to be like a certain amount in there. They all have to go into the same pod.
Oh,
and there's also a bartender in there too. So that's why they were able to rent it out, because it's a show. But normally it wouldn't be just two people, and you can't just do two people. It needs to be like a bunch of people. So it'd be like your group, another group, because that's how it was.
Oh,
but
no,
there has to be
Corona,
like a total
honey.
amount. Huh?
My group and another group, Corona, no thank you.
Well, I mean now, but back then, so because I went like last year, and then I went with my friend, and then there was like a bunch of other groups in there with us. So yeah, but yeah, because Shane told me that it looks cute and she wants to go on it. Then I remembered, oh yeah, I went on that, and I have a story about that. Yeah. So I was on there, and I was like a little bit turned. This is back when I drank more. I want to say maybe like 2 years ago. It's like a year or 2 years ago, one of the two. But back when she was a little bit more, she would get more turned more often, and she was in Vegas, and she went, and I wanted to go on that. And when I need to pee, I need to pee. Like, I need to pee. I needed to pee like a fucking Russian racehorse. Like, I needed to pee the house down.
And there's no, they're so big. I thought there was at least like
they are big. They are big, but there's no bathrooms. And I was kikiing with the bartender, and the bartender was just gagging at me. He was taking a picture for me and my friend. He's just gagging with me. And then I was just like, but is there a bathroom, sir? And he was just like, no. And he's just like, no, bro, there's no bathroom in here. You're so crazy. Da-da-da-da. I'm just like, but I need to pee. And he's just like, I know, but like, there's no bathroom, and we're up here for like another 15 minutes. And I was just like, I was like, this isn't going to work. I need to pee. So kind of like where they were standing on the show by the window on near that little seat thing, I kind of did like, and mind you, like I told you that there's multiple groups in there too, right? But no one was like near, like everyone was kind of like, for some reason, kind of congregated onto one side of the Ferris wheel. So I kind of went across the other side by kind of like where those windows was, and I was like, fuck this. And I peed against the window. It's not it's not my best moment, but she was turned and she had to go.
Not lady at all.
I know, it wasn't my best moment. And I did it as fast as I could. Now, that poor bartender, whoever has to clean up after, hopefully they're just like, oh, someone must have spilled their drink.
You didn't even pee in a cup?
No.
Ronald Gravesande.
I told you it's not my best moment, but I do these things when I'm turned, and I can't help it. And I couldn't hold it. Like, I cannot hold it when I'm turned. Oh. And I was going to be up there for at least another 20 minutes, girl. I would have peed my pants otherwise.
I'm glad you told me that, because I also have a very small bladder, so I didn't know there was no like stall restroom within that little pod, so that's a no-go for me now.
Well, you just need to go beforehand.
People are all, you don't travel very much. I'm like, I need to know there's a bathroom at all times.
Right. Right. Okay, right.
All right, so what are your final thoughts on the show, Ronald?
But yeah, no, it's good. I can't wait till they come back next year, though.
Back January I'm sure there'll be a season 2, and I'm glad, they got work. These girls got to pay the rent. We saw the lifestyle which they lead. It takes money, to do all that. So
yeah, it'll be good. I'd imagine they'd bring it back. It got a good response. Everyone was gagging at the messiness. So
yeah, exactly. So we got Drag Race Holland episode 2 coming up for you, and I'm really feeling that show. I love learning about all these like sort of idiosyncrasies of the gay cultures within these countries that I'm not so familiar with, like Canada or Holland. So,
for sure.
Definitely, it's a gag. It's exactly like we said last week. Gay speak
gay is
everywhere.
Gay is gay everywhere.
From Zimbabwe to Uzbekistan, honey.
Yes, honey. It's gay. It's the same everywhere.
Definitely, for sure. All right. Well, let us know your thoughts on everything, our videos and all that, what you want to see, what you
Yes,
like,
and
what you
like,
didn't like.
like, and subscribe.
Subscribe. All right. Oh, and we got a new intro, so we're curious what you guys think about that too. So my
Oh
mother
yeah,
really
this one.
liked it.
Yeah, I'll put the new intro in this one.
Yeah, and even my
But
best friend who doesn't watch the show liked the intro. I was like, can't watch the show, but you watch the intro.
yeah. Oh, who?
Drew.
Oh, I don't know her. I thought you were
Yeah.
talking about Esteban.
Uh,
But
the other one. I'm going to have dinner with her now. So, all
oh,
right.
but
Okay.
yes.
All right. Love
Bye,
y'all.
you guys.
Bye.